Online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. America First with Sebastian Gorka, today at 3, right before Sean Thompson at 4 on AM 560. The Answer.
Watch my movie. All right, good morning. Amy Jacobson here, and John Anthony in for Dan Proft. Have you heard about Biden's epiphany moment on gay marriage?
He's had so many of them.
Well, this is when he realized that gay marriage, being gay, it's okay.
I can remember exactly where my epiphany was.
Okay.
I hadn't thought much about it, to tell you the truth. And I was a senior in high school, and my dad was dropping me off. And I remember about to get out of the car, and I looked to my right, and two well-dressed men in suits kissed each other. I mean, they gave each other a kiss. And then one looked like he was heading to the DuPont building, and one looked like he headed to the Hercules Corporation building. And I'll never forget, I turned and looked at my dad. He said, "Joey, it's simple. They love each other. It's simple." No, I'm not joking. It's simple. They love each other. And it's never been...
I'm not joking.
It's never been... It's just that simple. It doesn't matter whether it's same-sex or a heterosexual couple. They should be able to be married. What is the problem?
I mean, first of all, can he stop saying, I'm not joking? He says that all the time. Or honestly, no, I'm not joking. I'm not joking.
You know
that he's lying.
I would say it's normally about stuff that you know you can't prove.
Right.
I mean, he voted.
But this we can prove because this is Joe Biden.
I remember this
in 1996 talking about the Defense of Marriage Act.
Handbasket. We are desperately concerned about the circumstance relating to avian flu. We don't have enough vaccines. We don't have enough police officers. And we're going to debate the next 3 weeks, I'm told, gay marriage, a flag amendment, and God only knows what else. I can't believe the American people can't see through this. We already have a law, the Defense of Marriage Act, where we've all voted, not where I voted and others said, look, marriage is between a man and a woman, and states must respect that. Nobody's violated that law. There's been no challenge to that law. Why do we need a constitutional amendment? Marriage is between a man and a woman. What's the game going on here? And
so for those of you who don't know, the Defense of Marriage Act established marriage between a man and a woman. Yeah. But politicians do change their mind. I'm old enough to remember when Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama were okay with just civil marriages for gay people, and then they morphed into gay marriage in 2008, and so did Biden.
Yeah.
Do you have a problem with gay marriage? I know we didn't.
I voted
for
against
this.
it. I voted against it in Springfield.
You did? Why?
This is my personal belief.
Yes. Okay.
I believe marriage as an institution was a God-ordained, God-created thing.
Because of the Bible?
But I'm libertarian in the sense, if somebody wanted to marry whoever they wanted to marry, that should be a government thing, not so much. And that's why I have a problem, because it pushes it off on to churches, to cake bakeries. You have to force them. They now have to make your cake if they don't want to choose. If they choose to not want to do that, that's one of the reasons why I voted against gay marriage in 2013. I think that was my first vote.
Because you were afraid of the political ramifications.
No, it was my first vote. Okay. That was one of the first votes I did, and I voted against.
When you were a state rep in Illinois.
I voted against gay marriage.
How many other people voted with you? How many yays and nays?
The only two Republicans that voted for it, and they got destroyed for it, was Eddie Sullivan and Ron Sandak.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, state reps.
Well, I go to a church where my pastor's married to a woman. Everybody's married to, and I know some lovely gay couples. So I don't know. Let me go on the fence on that.
Yeah, but like I said, should they choose to do like the civil unions and things? I thought that was strong enough, and I know a lot of, because I had a good friend of mine, Mike Cesaric, who was one of my mentors. He's gay. He died, and he felt like the civil unions didn't go far enough because he couldn't leave everything to his partner.
Well, you can write a will and leave everything to your partner, but if they're in the hospital, you don't really have rights.
I just think marriage is a God. I'm a faith believing person. Marriage, the institution of marriage, how it was designed and created, I think it's a God thing. I don't think it's something that the government should do.
All right. Well,
or should even get involved in.
Well, with more on this, let's welcome back to the program our good friend Chadwick Moore. He's on Twitter at Chadwick_Moore, Moore. Editor-in-chief at Outspoken, contributing editor at Spectator World, and author of So You've Been Sent to Diversity Training, Smiling Through the DEI Apocalypse. Good morning, Chad. How are you? Chad, are you there? Let's see. Chad.
He didn't like my answer, so he hung up on us.
No.
I'm just
Are you
kidding.
there? Hello, is this thing on?
Well, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. How are you?
Oh, okay. Sorry, I don't know what happened. Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Good. So did you hear our conversation that we were having about gay marriage and Biden changing his mind?
Oh, yeah. And it's, yeah. We're all supposed to believe that, in 1850, Biden getting out of his buggy as a high school student saw two men kiss. First of all, if that really did happen, which obviously it didn't, maybe they were just French. Maybe they weren't actually gay. Maybe they were just greeting each other goodbye. I don't know. But it's so funny to see Biden try to make up these stories, which he always does. Not only was it that his position on defense of marriage, he also voted for Don't Ask, Don't Tell. In the 1970s, he said that he thought gay people were security risks and shouldn't be given security clearance.
Oh, my God. He said that?
1974, I believe. He also voted for a bill that would say that gay people that the homosexual lifestyle shouldn't be taught in schools, which is, I believe that was in the 90s we did that. He has such a long record of being against what we think of as gay rights today. And yes, while politicians do change their minds, it's so unbelievable with this guy, and yet the media never pushes back or never questions him. Conversely, look at Donald Trump, who has basically had, when it comes to the issue of gay rights, has had the same opinion his entire life. Even the Advocate, the big gay magazine, which I used to write for them. Actually, they fired me because I came out as a conservative. They even did a big spread on him in the year 2000 about how much they were wooed and they were just lavishing in the fact that he was pro-gay civil unions. And he was always a sort of libertarian, live and let live guy, same equal rights. He doesn't care, who you're attracted to or whatever. But the media did everything they could to try to pin him as some kind of homophobic bigot. Meanwhile, you've got 170 years of Joe Biden on the record saying things that would be completely faux pas today, and he gets no pushback for it.
I know. I keep hearing from people, well, Trump is a homophobic and he hates gay marriage. Like, did you ever look into it? I mean, do you know what Trump's position was on gay marriage, not just civil unions?
Yeah, on the record, he was pro civil unions, and then on the record, I think when he was running for president in 2016, it's established law. It's what it is. I'm not touching it. Which, back to your conversation earlier, I respect both opinions about marriage being for a man and a woman, and also gay people having the same equal rights. Several countries in Europe handled this much better than we did in America because they have a legal distinction between civil marriage and religious marriage.
Yeah.
And that might have worked really well in the United States if we'd come up with something like that. I think the word marriage is what gives a lot of people, especially a lot of religious people, pause, rightfully so. Yep. But even the vast majority of those people agree with the same government rights and civil rights, hospital visits, inheritance, et cetera, parental rights. So, it's a big issue of the wording in that, and I respect both opinions on it. But for Joe Biden to pretend he was always waving the rainbow flag when he was in diapers is so pandering and pathetic. And all these lefties and all these gay rights people, they don't really like Joe Biden. They just are glad that it's not Donald Trump. But they're not going to say anything. They're going to keep quiet because they think that he's at least better than the other side. But really, most people on the other side probably have your freedoms and interests more of everyone's freedoms and interests more than Joe Biden's attempt to pretend to be some kind of gay warrior.
Yeah. Hey, but Chadwick, what I love about what you just said, you can see both sides of the coin. But the problem that we have today is, like, I can't have my point of view without being called a homophobe, a xenophobic. Right. It's just I believe how America was founded, Judeo-Christian values. That doesn't mean that I hate people that live the gay lifestyle. I don't hate them, but allow me the space, or allow others the space and the right to have a disagreement or a difference of opinion about the lifestyle you choose to use. But we've created this such divisive and vitriolic sense of entitlement, I believe, coming from the LGBTQ plus community. And I have tons of friends. I sound like the white guy that says I got a black friend, right?
Wait, I got a black friend.
But I do.
Wait, you're my black friend.
Right. But I have these conversations with my gay friends, and they're like, well,
friends.
They're like, I don't believe it or agree with how they're pushing this agenda. What do you say about that right to have that? Remember, the whole tolerance movement started because of the LGBT, in my opinion, and they wanted tolerance, but now that they've gotten the upper hand, tolerance is not tolerated, right?
Yeah. And that's very, very well put. It was this sort of, the gay rights, which nominally started at the Stonewall Inn in 1969 here in New York, was this sort of, we just want to be left alone. We want to be left alone by the government and by our neighbors. We don't want to be arrested. We don't want to be fired from our jobs because of who we are. Great, wonderful. We can all get on board with that. And they've assumed so much power and money and influence, especially as it's become what I call Gay Inc., which is like the big, HRC, GLAAD, all these huge, bloated, worthless nonprofits. They have to keep the fundraising in. They have to keep people angry and engaged. And the sort of leave me alone attitude has now become one of dominance. And look at now, especially with all this transgender stuff, especially with the children. My God, I never thought I'd ever see that in my life.
Oh, I know. I have friends that transition that are mortified. And I go to church with a lot of people. And I talked to one of my friends. I don't want to say her name, but she's one of the OGs.
Yeah.
So she transitioned back in 1983.
Wow.
And I've known her for a year. I had no idea that she used to be a man. No clue at all. And then when I found out she was, I don't stop loving her. But she's mortified at all this grooming going on. She said, bingo, library bingo, lunch. I mean, you go to the Kit Kat Club at Halstead and Waveland.
What's Kit Kat?
The kids can't come in there. Kit Kat Club's awesome.
What the heck is that?
Kit Kat Club, meow, meow. It's,
I've never been there.
it's you sit down, you have great martinis, and then you watch it's cross-dressers or trans, I don't know, but they perform, and they're really good at their job. I went for my bachelorette party, okay, truth
I have
be
no
told.
interest, so I'm sorry.
I know. If you have no interest, that's fine. But I'm just saying that if you're as an adult, if you choose to do that, that's your freedom of speech. That's your freedom of expression as an American.
As an adult.
But to shove it down our kids' throats, I mean, I think they've taken it too far, and they're pushing this agenda, and I don't know why.
It's so true. It's in the same vein as marriage that it's this shoving it down people's throats and this hatred and this if you disagree or have a different opinion, you're a bigot and we're going to try to destroy your life. Well, they're doing it with gay marriage and now they're doing it with this trans kids thing. Yeah. It only breeds actual hatred towards gay people or suspicion. I mean, so many gay people hate all this stuff. Almost none of them will speak up publicly because they're afraid of the mob or they're afraid of being kicked out of their social worlds. But a lot of us see this, that it's antagonizing in a way that it doesn't need to be, and powerful forces and also deranged activists who have nothing better to do with their lives and really grasp onto this for a sense of self-worth and dignity push this thing through at the detriment of not only greater society but also just normal gay people who don't hate those who disagree with them, and certainly don't want to see children roped into this stuff.
Right. And Chadwick, I'm not afraid to have these tough conversations. I have them every Saturday on my show. I am not afraid to have the conversations. I've been called homophobic, and it's like, no, I want to have a real conversation so that we can discuss this. Listen, I don't agree with the lifestyle, but guess what? People are adults. They can do whatever the heck they want to do. That's not. I really believe in freedom. I believe that. And, I look at it as, Jesus said, let the wheat grow with the tares. Now, I'm not saying that the homosexual lifestyle is a tear, but that's the premise behind that is, what's good and what's evil or what's bad, can let it grow together. And at the end, I'll sift it as wheat. And that's how I look at it. So if people want to live whatever the heck they want to live, let them. But you're not going to stop me from having a conversation about how I believe from a Judeo-Christian perspective. I'm not going to let you stop me from doing that. It's really that simple for me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's like being called anything. As soon as someone disagrees, you're a homophobe, you're a racist. I don't
Right.
even think those words have any meaning anymore. I don't know anyone who does think those words have power against them. You know, I don't know anyone like that because it's just so they're so empty and they're so they require no thought or nuance or appreciation for our differences, and that's what makes being an American and just being alive in general so great, is that we are different and we can think differently and have these different thoughts. The left, and especially the LGBTQAI2S++ community, don't want that. They want sameness and conformity, and both in ideology and apparently in gender. And
I just got one quick question. You know, in the black community, we got a black card. You know, the gay community, you guys have a gay card, because you're gonna lose yours. You continue down this road.
Oh, that was revoked so long ago. You have no idea.
Okay. All right. Well, Chadwick Moore, we're going to have to leave it there for today. Always a pleasure having you on the program. You're one of the best in the business, and you could read more. Are you working on anything, by the way, that we should alert our listeners about?
Oh, I'm up to my neck in my next book, but I'm not sure I can talk about it now. But I'll let you guys know when it's out.
Oh, you better, because we'll help you out. Chadwick Moore, editor-in-chief at Outspoken. You can follow him on Twitter at Chadwick_Moore. And always a pleasure having you on, and good luck with your book.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
If you are a first-time home buyer, which means you have not owned a home within the past 3 years, then you need to call Team Hochberg, your trusted local lender. I have very, very, very valuable news for all first-time home buyers. Due to the rapid